Should we start?
We should.
This is gonna be me like half the podcast, just
That's okay.
in the middle. I'm eating gummy bears. Take it away, Raven.
Welcome to
Two Girls, One Book Club. I have to do the arm thing every time. My son is here and
Yes.
he's also saying Two Girls, One Book Club.
Which is the best.
I feel like we just get closer and closer each time we film. We're just like,
hi, how are you?
what is this?
One of these times we're just gonna end up in one of those like giant shirts that they would put the siblings in when they were fighting. It was like what our mouth.
Brian will make it for us. But you guys need this.
Here it is. Oh gosh. So, well, this episode is gonna be real fun because this book, I loved it, and it's now bumped up. I think it's in my top 5 now. I just got to decide what book to kick out.
Would you like to say what the book is called first?
I shall. The book is Springtide.
by Kai Stevens. We did
Yes.
Fault Line. Was that like our second
Yeah,
or
it was
third
a while
episode?
ago. This is the book that takes place before
Fault
that.
Line, but you don't have to read them in order. But they do kind of go together.
Yeah,
like the
there's-
same characters and everything.
There's
and
some stuff in Fault Line, like
Yeah,
in Springtide, that they
they're
talk
tied
about
together.
in Fault
Yeah.
Line, but it's like totally different siblings. Or I mean, it's not even the siblings. It's just they kind of know each other. But
yeah.
They're all
Well,
the same
Elio, I don't know.
Elliot, I call
It's
him
Italian.
Elio.
I call him Elio.
Okay, cool.
He's in both books.
Yes.
Not as much in Springtide as in Fault Line, but he's kind of like the middleman as to how they all get tied.
Yes.
Him and Sophia, which is
Ooh.
Kaya's sister. So they all kind of, those are the two people that tie it all in
Yeah.
together.
Because in this book, it's Harper and Luca is Elio's older brother.
Yes. And Raven loves him.
I do.
And I think he's great, but I need boys to be mean to me.
Yeah. The gray hair.
That is
It's
from my
your
dog.
but-
Don't even take it back. I do not.
No,
That was
no.
literally from my dog.
I know. Your dog looks like a ghost.
She looks insane right now. Anyways,
Oh, gosh.
but I lost my train of thought. Not that I ever had one to begin with. You know?
True. I like this one. I don't know how many years it takes place before, but
Well,
it's
he's in
got to
the
be
junior
several.
college.
Yeah. So, but I mean, the epilogue, it's like 5 years later. So I'm
Oh.
thinking this is because I think Fault Line picks up shortly. It must picked up right after the epilogue because because in the epilogue that's when Elio is like this one kid Holden. He's
Okay,
kind
but
of a
like,
turd.
how old are? Because these guys are 21 in Springtide. They're
So
21.
then they would be 26.
Okay.
27-ish. Because it does talk about how he's in high school. Elio is in this book. He's in high school taking classes at the junior college. So then
Okay.
5 years later, they would be their seniors because Fault Line is their senior year of college.
Okay.
So it
I
must
just
take
thought
place
they
right
were-
after.
Seniors when they became friends, but I could be wrong. Whatever. Raven's probably right.
Yes.
I need to turn
Do you want to go to Fort Lauderdale?
Why?
I don't know. I just got an email.
What's in Fort Lauderdale? Where is that?
Florida.
We're going to Florida. We're gonna move there. That'll be great.
Orlando and Fort Lauderdale from Salt Lake, 158 round trip.
Guys, me and Raven are gonna.
Sorry, we got to stop this now. We got to
Yeah,
leave.
we're going to Florida. I already got my swimsuit.
This
need
is so
nothing
true.
else.
True.
So I'll Venmo you.
Okay. Since you lost your debit
I
card, you
lost
can
my
Venmo me.
debit card somewhere. Oh, it's okay.
That's okay.
Who needs it?
I mean, a lot of people, but
I do,
it's fine.
but it's fine.
So, Springtide. Yes, the first one in the Coastal
You.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the series.
What did you rate it? We'll do our rating
5
stuff
star.
and then we'll talk about it.
5-star.
I give it like 4.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you liked, after reading these books, I like this one more than Fault Line.
I like
And you
Fault
like
Line
Fault
more
Line more.
because they do like an enemies, rivals to lovers
Yeah,
thing.
and I like the friends to lovers, and just the golden retriever boys, and I mean, like, Luca's pretty standoffish at the beginning, but
Yeah.
then he's like, oh,
yeah,
like
I just like
that
the banter and that
Yes.
Holden and Kaya just give each other shit all the time. So that's my
all the
favorite
time.
thing. So
It's the best.
I liked it, but I like it. I
I
just
know,
like
it's
Fault
good.
Line more.
Yeah,
I don't
I
even know
liked
what I
this
rated
more.
Fault Line.
You did 5 stars.
Probably.
Probably.
But yeah, I thought it was good.
It was good.
And we have exciting news. Speaking of Kai Stevens,
She
and
has
this book
a new book coming out
in
August 15th.
August 15th called The Trade.
And
Raven's already read it.
I legit
She
binged it in like
binged it.
2 days.
Yeah.
It was so good. So Kai gave us like
The
early
early release,
access
yeah,
to
we got the
it, so we
art
couldn't
to it.
read it, and it was so freaking good.
No spoilers
So-
here.
Springtide is football. It's a football book. The Trade is also a football book, but it's at a different. It's like a different series.
Yeah. It's
So,
at Dayton, isn't
It's
it?
at Dayton.
Which is the rival school for Coastal View.
Yes, but none of the characters are the same.
Yeah,
in the
different
Trade.
characters.
Different characters, different
Danny's
school.
not in it though? Because he
No.
goes to Dayton.
What do you mean, Danny? Luca's
Luca's friend.
I don't think so. I don't think it mentions him.
Okay. Well,
Well, but remember, I don't know when the Trade takes place, but like this is
okay.
5 years before Fault Line is, and I don't know Fault Line to the Trade
maybe.
timeline. I'm guessing they're probably in the same universe, but I don't know with it being a different series.
Yeah.
But I would assume it is if it's in Dayton.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's very good, and with the release of her new book, we're gonna do a giveaway,
Yes.
and you'll get
3 signed copies of Fault Line, The Trade, and Springtide. We're throwing in some stickers related to the books, and some bookmarks and
Some
fun
other
stuff.
goodies.
And it's going to be great. We'll have it posted on our Instagram and our TikTok, which
with
is
more details about
Yeah.
how to enter, things like that.
it's Two Girls One Book Club.
On both, you'll see us.
Well, I think our Instagram name is different, isn't it?
No, it's like 2 girls underscore one book club.
Yeah.
We're very excited to do the giveaway. We've been talking to Kai about it a lot.
Raven
And
and her are practically
we're like
besties at this
besties
point.
now.
They were talking all morning
And yesterday, just
about books.
about books,
About reading
her
books.
book.
I like that she likes
and-
fantasy books because she read Fourth Wing, and I can't wait to
I
read
know,
that. It
I'm
has
so pumped to read
dragons.
it. We're gonna have to add it.
It's hard to get a copy, like a physical copy.
I know.
It's sold out everywhere, but I want one
Yes.
so bad. Early birthday, early Christmas.
Christmas.
Early.
We're like,
something.
Jessica, we need each
Happy
other for
Halloween.
Secret Santa. Okay.
Halloween time. I need a book.
Well, but Halloween time, we're gonna read The Graham Effect.
I thought you were gonna say the grandma something.
The grandmother.
And I was like, what? What grandma book are we reading?
A scary one. She's the killer. I mean, like Hansel and Gretel, but the grandma bakes them into the pies. Did you ever watch the movie Chicken Run?
I have seen it, yeah.
It scarred me for several years when I was like, oh my gosh. Like,
Not eat chickens for a long time. Or...
oh no, I did anyway, but I was just
Oh.
like, this is how they make chicken pot pie at Costco? I was like, oh my god,
At Costco.
I was like, scarred.
Yeah.
But then I continued to watch it and eat chicken nuggets anyway, so.
I watch a lot of food documentaries on Netflix, and I don't ever want to eat food anymore ever again. I
Well,
have to.
That's why you can't.
These are
start
organic,
with
aren't you? Aren't you? Aren't they?
I am organic, thank you.
Well then. No, these aren't the organic ones. I buy the organic ones, but these are fine.
You know
It's
what?
Fine.
I don't know. Yesterday, Ashley asked me if I brought her the like sugar-free Gatorade. I'm like, no, full sugar.
I drink sugar-free everything. I'm a
I
freak.
don't. So, but anyways,
I have issues.
go to our TikTok or our Instagram for details about the giveaway because it's our first giveaway, and it's gonna be 3 books all signed.
That's exciting, you guys. You'll get books signed by the author.
Yes, and she's sweet.
She
she's
really
so
is.
nice. I just love her.
She's the best. The books are really, really good. Like, I'm not a football person, and I still liked it. Even if you're not like a sports person, because they're not
Yeah.
heavy on the sports.
No.
Like some of the other books we've read, like Consider Me and stuff like that, where they talk about the sport all the time.
Yes.
It's mentioned, but it's not
Right.
like the whole
I
premise
mean, in
of
this
the book.
one, they kind of mention like Luca, like how many tackles he had or stuff like that.
Did they?
Yeah, it's like in a game, and I was like, wow, he tackled 6 times or things like
Or
that. I was gonna
Balls.
quiz you on football today while we're doing this. I don't want to tell you so you couldn't study, but I just wanted you to tell me the things that you know. Like
right now.
like right now, before we start this, like how many points is a touchdown?
5.
No, it's 6.
I was 1 off.
How many points is a field goal after a touchdown?
Wait, what's a field goal?
Like you, when they kick the ball into.
Oh.
How many points is it after they score the 6 for the touchdown?
15.
1. If they decide, so they make a touchdown, they decide not to kick it for an extra point, but they try to run it for like a conversion, how many points is that?
First of all, why would they want to run it? What's a
Because
conversion?
you get more points than if you kick
Wait,
it.
but what's
how
a
many points?
conversion?
It's where they line up in the red zone, which is the end zone, which is where you score.
Okay.
They line up and they have to run and try to get it back into the end zone where you score touchdowns. But if it's more points than the 1 point they get for a field goal. So like if it's tied and you got like 15 seconds left, you'd want to try to run it and get
3 points.
2 points. Well, it was real close.
I'm getting there.
It's called a 2-point conversion.
That's
why I could.
I need conversion therapy.
If if they don't score a touchdown but they're in field goal range and they kick a field goal, how many points is it?
It's not the same.
It's not.
5.
3. We were getting really, really close. How many periods of play are there?
4.
Good job!
Because I thought hockey was 4, and it's very much not.
It's 3. Let me
What
think.
did I call them too? You're like, there are 3 periods, and I was like,
How many quarters are there?
I was like, wait,
3.
there's a 4th. When like, isn't
What's
there a
the
4th quarter?
No, there's 3 periods.
Oh, I know things.
Do you know what the one who throws the football is called?
No.
The quarterback.
Oh. Is that all he does?
He just throws the ball where he runs it, yes.
See, I never would have guessed. I'm like, isn't he just like the guy that everybody wants to date?
Well, I don't know. I guess it depends.
Okay, wait, what's like a linebacker? That was called.
Yes.
Okay,
Well,
what
there's
do they
like
do?
linebackers and there's running backs and there's a whole bunch. Because there's the
Just
ones.
all the backs.
They're all the backs.
They're paid
There's
backs.
the should be that could be your position. You're like, awesome. Okay, wait. Have you seen the movie 80 for Brady?
Not yet.
Okay, we're gonna have to watch it. But anyway, Brian and I watched it like a couple weeks ago, and I was like talking to him
Willie
about.
cried.
I did too,
I
but
don't.
yeah, because you're heartless.
I
But
just don't cry in front of people.
But we'll make it really dark so that nobody else can see you, and you can sit there, and we'll sit here, and we'll just not look at
Just,
each
like,
other.
hide
We'll
under-
put the horse blinders on. You can't see
The
them.
what?
Like horses do when they do the races.
Do you own those?
No,
Should I
I'm
be
sure I can
concerned?
find them. I'll find them. No, do you not know what I'm talking about? Like when the horses do like the derby races,
I know
they
it.
wear blinders like this, so that they can't see each other.
Okay.
Anyways, back to football. So there's the one that hikes the ball.
That's not the quarterback.
No, they hike it to the quarterback.
Okay, what's that guy called?
I don't know. The center, I think. I don't know. But there's ones that run, which are the running backs.
Who would want to run? That just sounds terrible.
Really fast people, not us.
Not me.
There's the defensive line that lines up and protects the quarterback. And there's the ones that are on the okay, wait. So if your quarterback has the ball, you have your line that tries to stop the other line from coming through, but then they try to run and tackle. What is it called when they tackle the quarterback?
Is it not just called a tackle?
It's not.
Tackle back.
No, it's called like sack the quarterback. So like up at the
That was
University
close.
of Utah, because they're really good at sacking the quarterbacks, they have signs that say Sack Lake City. And they're like, welcome to Sack Lake
Like at
City.
Rice Eccles Stadium?
Like people will make signs, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Look at those double gummy bears.
Cute. They're like holding on for dear life. Wait,
Why?
hanging off the side of the table.
Oh no.
Help me.
We're gonna leave it there.
My child was dead
Hey,
on
Jude.
top of Raven's table.
I don't know. Can you name any famous football player?
Tom Brady.
What team does
Peyton
he
Manning.
play for and
The
what
Broncos.
position?
I don't know.
Actually, Peyton Manning is not the Broncos.
No, but isn't it Tom Brady?
No.
No. Okay, I don't know.
Where do the Broncos play?
In Denver. I have
Okay,
friends
good.
that live in Colorado. I'm not that stupid.
And there's the first shout out to the Colorado friends. You know who you are.
We'll try not to talk mad shit about you in this one. No promises.
No promises.
Creatures.
That was you. That was me.
I love it. It's fine.
What team did Aaron Rodgers play for? He just got switched, but who did he
I
play
know
for
he
before?
was engaged to Shailene Woodley.
Well, that's very good, but they're not. But what did he play? Who did he play for?
Can you at least tell me what area of the U.S.
The East.
East Coast? Wait, I don't know
I
sports teams.
said
Hold on.
East, not the East Coast. He doesn't
Oh.
have an ocean in his state.
Okay, Eastern United States.
Yes, the opposite side of where we are.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of teams. I don't know many sports teams. Is the Giants baseball or
Those
is
are the
it
New York Giants.
is that baseball or football?
I think that's football.
Okay.
So then there's the New
Then.
York Jets. No. The team is in Wisconsin.
Oh, is it the? Wait, is that Green Bay?
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
Do
the
you know what
Vikings.
position he played?
Was he the quarterback?
He was the quarterback.
Look at me knowing sports things.
Good job.
I know nothing.
Do you know what team Tom Brady played for? He's switched now.
I
He
get
got
him
traded
and
a couple years ago.
I get him and Peyton Manning confused because Peyton Manning played for the Patriots forever, right?
Nope.
Is that Tom Brady?
Yep.
See? It's like Jake Gyllenhaal, Ryan Gosling, Ryan
That was
Reynolds. They're all the same
awesome.
person.
Yes.
They're all one person.
No, Peyton Manning played for the Broncos.
Whatever.
Can you name 3 football teams that aren't the Packers, the Broncos, or the Patriots?
The Vikings,
Where do they reside?
Minnesota.
Good job.
I only know that because my sister dated a guy that liked that team.
Oh, I thought you were going to say on that team. I was like, that's actually really cool. Good connection. I don't know.
My sister wishes. Okay,
Okay.
the Raiders, they now play in Vegas. But
Whoop.
they used to play in California. And the Seahawks.
Which are from where?
Seattle.
You could have named the Ravens, but that's fine.
There's a team called the Ravens?
Yes.
Where do they play?
Baltimore. They won the Super Bowl a couple of years ago.
Do I look like I pay attention when I go to Super Bowl parties?
No, you're there for the dip.
I'm there for the snacks and the hangs. Just kidding. Actually, I don't know the last time I went to a Super Bowl party. I like to go to hockey games. I've been to like 2 college football games. I've been to a BYU game. We hate BYU.
We
in
don't
here.
like BYU.
Been to a youth game. We left at halftime though because it was the
Right,
end of
'cause
November
it was
and it was raining. It was so cold. It was not a good time at all. I do believe I did go back to Eric's friend's house and get very silly. I need to elaborate. I got very drunk. There we go.
Very silly.
I got very silly. And then I went to like high school games, but like me and my
Right.
friends didn't actually watch the game. Like who goes to a high school football game to watch football? We were there to like hang out. Like if you didn't have a student ID, you had to pay. But like,
Right. I go to football games to watch football.
yeah, I know you've been to many. You just went to the Rose Bowl.
We went to the Rose Bowl. Pac-12
won, right?
championship. No, we lost.
Oh, we lost.
But we won the Pac-12 championship.
But that was in Vegas.
It was in Vegas, and that's where it's going to be
Was that
again.
the
But
Raiders
because
Stadium
because the Utes played there and won twice in a row, tickets just went on sale today. So the middle linebacker, that's what Luca is
Okay.
in the book. So quarterback, center, told you, running back, wide receiver. But it's like there's special rules for positions. Like there's some of them that like they can't run the ball or they can't catch a throw.
What's their job? Just to like tackle people?
Yeah, like tackle. Yeah. Yeah. So there's like if you catch it.
Wait, what if somebody like throws the ball at them and their first instinct is to catch it? They get in trouble.
Well, if they get like the fumble, but like there's somewhere like the quarterback can't throw to your position and you can't run it because that's not your job. Well, there's very confusing rules sometimes. But it's good. We'll
Sports
watch
are
them
me.
together. They are for
I
you.
have a feeling you're gonna get me and try to get me to go to a football game.
No, I'm not gonna pay for you to go.
No. You'll just be like, please come. and then I'll be like, fine for the hangs.
No, you're gonna hang when we watch it on the
You
TV.
think I'm gonna watch
Where
it,
there's
but really,
commercials and snacks. Like receipts. Now I'm gonna read what this book is
Yeah,
about.
here we go. Let's talk about the
So,
book.
back to spring tide. Harper St. James is the type of girl who thrives on the idea of life's simple pleasures. A half-melted ice cream cone on a summer's day, a puppy licking sand from a baby's face, a gentle wave that crests and breaks on the ocean's shore. For quite some time, Harper has been harboring a secret crush on Nate Gunderson, fellow Coastal U student and MLB hopeful. In order to spend more time with him this semester, she finds herself spinning a ridiculous web of lies. Her first step, convincing her sports med professor that she's been dating a football player. After all, if she's romantically involved, it simply wouldn't be right for her to keep an internship with their team. Unfortunately for Harper, this silly, frantic excuse to switch assignments quickly snowballs into an unstoppable rumor. Luca Reynolds is the type of guy who prefers to set low expectations, both for himself and others, if only to avoid any inevitable disappointment. His football teammates would describe him as reserved, brooding, and occasionally standoffish. The truth, Luca doesn't feel like he belongs. Breaks my heart for a little guy. When an unexpected injury threatens to destroy Luca's long-term plans, he finds himself in need of help from a discreet professional, one who will assess his need, provide some simple stretches, and assure him that everything's fine. Luckily, there's a scheming student intern that just might owe him a favor or two. A secret for a secret, a lie for a lie. It's not really blackmail if she's the one who used him first. And I was like, like where your head's at, Luca.
Yeah.
She lied about you first, so. Okay, what were you going to say about the ice cream?
She gets chocolate ice cream with gummy bears, and that is vile.
Yeah, I thought
That
that too. I was
is-
like, nah.
Terrible. No, thank you. When I worked at this place in my hometown called Rocky's Place, we did like shakes and stuff, and it always grossed me out when people would get like gummy bears in their ice cream
I
or
don't
like
like that they
gum.
freeze. Oh.
Yeah, like gumballs. I'm like, you guys are disgusting.
Yes, when they
What's
do, like-
wrong with you?
Yes.
So
When they do like the bubblegum flavor with like the ice cream. No.
Okay.
What's your favorite ice cream flavor then?
I like to make my own.
Me too.
Okay, okay, hold on.
Okay, wait.
I guess if I had to like buy it from the grocery store, it's mint chip, and I know people are gonna be like, "That's disgusting. It's
I like
toothpaste. Your toothpaste." It's delicious, but when we go to Culver's, I usually get like the mint with brownie in it.
Oh yeah.
That's my favorite.
So what was your first impression of Harper? Because we start out with her in the book.
Well, I like
Look
her.
at all my
I know I highlighted so much of this book.
So good.
That I've highlighted more of this than probably any book I've read so far on my Kindle. But I like it because, like,
So I've noticed that this number up here
oh no.
changes based on chapter, so it tells you like how many you've
Okay, so I highlight
like that
on my
chapter.
Kindle and on this.
right.
So like notes and highlights. I don't want to do that. So some of them are actually not on here.
So what was your first thought though of Harper and the first thought of Luca?
I liked Harper. I like that
I like
she
Harper.
tries to see like the good in everything and like be positive because I'm working on that myself right now. It's
Well, I mean, they mentioned a couple times that she's very forgiving in
yeah,
this book. I'm like, come on.
I'm working on
That's
it.
what I gotta do.
There was-
Be nicer.
A part that I highlighted and for some reason it's not on here anymore. I do like this. Life is too damn good, too beautiful to cry over greasy boys with sloppy tongues. And I'm like, you know what? I agree.
Yes. And then what did you think of Luca?
I thought he was like fine. I know like you loved him.
I did.
I was just like, he's a little brooding. I just wish it kind of gave more of a backstory as to like why
Right.
he kind of is like all of this standoffish kind of thing. Like I know like he gets his heart broken.
But they touch on it like several times in the book that like he just doesn't feel worthy or
Yeah.
things like that. But then especially when they talk about his breakup with Sophia,
Yeah.
when he like tells Harper about it, I think that really like probably messed him up more than he thought, and then he just
Yeah.
that, and then because then you just like see throughout the book like how self-conscious he is about things.
Okay, but I kind of have a theory.
Okay.
Okay, here's one thing really quick. Why I love Kai's books. I've only read the first two so far.
Ugh.
But I like that she puts in mental health. Like Harper
Yes.
has anxiety. She doesn't
Oh,
like
totally.
fully like talk about it, but like they go out to dinner
And
and
she,
she
has,
starts
like,
to
a panic
get
attack,
like
yeah.
anxious, so she goes and she like touches like the cold tile of the
Right.
bathroom, and I'm like, I have crippling anxiety. I have panic attacks frequently. I have OCD, which was talked about in Fault Line.
Right.
I'm just a hot mess of a human being, you guys. But like, in this one, Luca has a little sister, Georgie, I think is how you say it, and she's autistic. It doesn't flat out say it in the book, but she's nonverbal. She has sensory issues. I have 2 kids with autism. My oldest, who's 13, he has autism. And my youngest, who's 4, who has autism. So it was nice to see that in a book. I know it doesn't like focus around, you know, her and that, but I like that.
But like even Luca had some stuff where he was like you can't,
sensory.
like you have to touch
and that's
her.
me. I'm like,
Yeah, you
please
can't be
don't.
like this.
Jude does that to me all the time. He comes up to me and like rubs my arm like this. And I
Right.
was like,
Push.
no! And I'm like, now I have to like rip my skin off because you did it wrong.
Right. But then Luca talks too about like how he's not good with like verbal or like physical cues and stuff. It's like he needs words and he needs you to tell him.
Yeah, so
because
that
he
makes
just
me think
he
that
doesn't do good picking up cues and stuff.
Which is the thing with autism.
Right.
So I'm wondering if maybe
he has it to like a slight degree.
like maybe like ASD1 or
Yeah.
somewhere close to that. But I do like that she had like the autism in here, and then the anxiety and like the sensory issues.
And the other thing that I really liked about this was we really see, because you and I, we've read a lot of books, right? We've read a lot of the same ones. And a lot of them, it's like, the guy is like the pro hockey player or the one going pro, and he has a lot of money, and the girl's just like, oh no, like, right? Like in Lucky Hit. Right. But like in Lucky Hit, like, with Oakley and Ava, like, she's this orphan who didn't get adopted until she's like 17 and stuff. And then Oakley has like his life together. I mean, his dad died, but he like has stuff together. But I feel like this was probably the first one, at least in a long time, that we've read where it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Where like she comes from a rich family, her life's like all taken care of, she doesn't have to worry about anything. And then Luca is like poor, he's insecure about his body,
isn't there like
about
6 kids. There's
he's
let's see, Taylor, Elio, Luca, the twins, and Jordan. There's 6
six
kids.
of them. He's the second
That's terrible.
of 6 kids. So he's like insecure about his body, about his money. I mean, it causes fights with him a couple times when she offers to pay for things.
We'll get to
and
the
he's
fight.
like, no.
Nathan has words about that.
Kai, I love you, but you break my heart. So I liked that part of this book, that it's him that's a little more insecure. But I mean, we do learn later on in the book that she has like her own issues with her family. Her parents are divorced. Her mom's gallivanting around Europe.
And retired in like she's
retired
like
at like 43 or something.
She's an only child.
Yeah, and her dad is kind of shitty because he's kind of a turd when he meets Luca for the first time at like the condo. And you know, I was like, okay, well maybe it's just that like he was surprised that she was there. But then all the times at dinner and all these comments that he's making, I was like, you suck. And then like Luca even says that, he's like, your dad is a jerk. And she's like, well, it's not usually like that. And you know, and then Luca just mentions again that like she is very forgiving and she always tries to see the best in people, and he's like, I don't forgive easily. This part though, it's in chapter 10. It's from Luca's perspective. He's like talking about how he's like at the pier and he's working and it's super slippery and he falls and he like hurts his knee, and at this point Harper's been like helping him like massage his knee out because he's injured.
Has an MCL tear.
Yeah, that he's trying not to tell anybody
Don't
about.
ask me what that is. I can tell you. Google it.
GTS. Google that shit.
Oh, I was like, what's GTS?
It's a little more.
That's like
acronym.
another sports injury.
Another sports injury. No. So he
groin tear.
Groin
Shit.
tear. No. Yeah, I don't know. So he is talking about like how he's in need of one, and he says, she ends up like massaging his knee out. He falls asleep like the first couple times, or whatever. So he says, believe it or not, it's not typical. It's not typically impossible for me. Oh my gosh, believe it or not, it's typically impossible for me to feel comfortable in someone else's space. With Harper, it's like I don't have a choice. I'm entranced by that sea of pillows and her soft, nimble hands. Plus, I appreciate the way she responds to my attitude. because apparently that's what I have. The feisty, ripe attitude of her deceased family pet.
The
And
cat.
that was so freaking funny. I thought that was just so funny when she told him that. She's like, "You're like my dead cat." And he's like,
Remind me of my family's dead cat.
he's like, "Hey." And then she says in the next chapter about Luca, she says, "Luca's a cool person and I enjoy being around him, even when he's a little agitated and a lot flustered. It's funny and sweet. I initially thought he was just a shy person, that he might need some extra time to warm up, but I'm starting to understand him differently now. Luca isn't shy necessarily, he's just careful and private and sensitive. He clearly works himself to the bone, yet he opts to suffer in silence. When push comes to shove, Luca never pretends to be someone he's not. Those are all qualities I admire, regardless of how outwardly standoffish he might seem." Because they're like starting to get to know each other. I don't know. I found the stuff when they go on the date with Sophia and Danny, though, and I'm like,
And she has the anxiety.
yes.
I hate Sophia.
So, pre this book, like that Luca talks about a little bit, he asks Harper to go on this double date with him because his best friend is like, "Hey, me and my girlfriend Sophia are," and you start to get the vibe that like something had happened in the past, but you don't know for sure. So Luca agrees to go on a double date, and he just goes, "Oh, by the way, I'm seeing somebody." When Danny is like, "We want to see you and your family."
Well, hold on. First of all, she wants to date Nate from the baseball team. We didn't mention that.
we
That's why.
don't like Nate from the baseball team.
That's why she wanted to switch, not because
Yes.
she was actually dating anybody on the football team. It's
She
because
just
she wanted
happened to
work with
mention
Nate.
Luca.
And her friend got baseball, so they switched.
Yes.
And so she just like mentioned like Luca because she knows him from the both working
Right.
at the Amber Isle or
Knows him.
yeah.
They
she's talked to him
once
one
in
time.
like 3 years.
And so she has to come up with like the whole fake dating Luca thing and
Yes.
whatnot. So,
So then his best friend, Luca's best friend Danny called and was like, "Hey, we're coming to town, like love to get together, Sophia's coming, whatever. And then like, do you want to go out to dinner? We'd love to see your family." And Luca's like, "Well, I'm actually seeing someone, I'd love for you to come, whatever." And so then he has to awkwardly ask Harper to come with him on this date. And she's planning to go get drinks with Nate, but she says, "Don't worry, I'll just reschedule. Like, if you need me, I'll be there." And so she goes on this date with him. And this part made me so sweet because they're talking about before they go on this date, and he asks her, and she's like, "How are we going to do this?" He says, "What do you mean?" She goes, "You know you have to at least pretend to like me on Friday, right?" And then from Luca's point of view, he says, "My gaze trails across her face, taking note of the open vulnerability in her features. She's joking with me now, but there's an underlying sense of insecurity behind her words. I do like you." And I just put the note, like, she just wants him to like her. I don't think at this point she's like romantically like me, but she's just like, I think a lot of that probably came from being an only child and just like her parents just like that they divorced so she leaves for college. So it was like the week she's moving into the dorm, they're like, surprise.
Yeah.
So I think she just wants to be like accepted and loved, which is exactly how Luca
But
feels
does she?
too.
Because she's never been in a serious relationship. She kind of
Yeah,
just likes the
this is
boy.
true.
It's fling, then she moves
Yeah.
on to the next one. So
Right.
I think she just wants people to like her, but I don't think she.
But she doesn't like to I think she wants people to like her in like the friendship
Friends,
sort of
yeah.
sense. But in the relationship, she's like, no. So, so they're on this date, and Harper learns that that Luca was supposed to go to Dayton with them, and
Then
that
as in Danny and Sophia. Danny
Yes.
is his best friend.
Sophia's
Sophia,
Dan's girlfriend.
Danny's girlfriend.
And Harper says, "Oh, like you changed your mind." And Danny says they gave away his scholarship. He was like a day late putting his deposit down. And Harper says, "Oh man, that really sucks. I guess selfishly I'm happy you ended up at Coastal." And then Luca says, it worked out the best for everyone, didn't it? He mutters the question to no one, but his gaze seems to be pinpointed on Sophia. I glance from Luca's stony expression to Sophia's soft blush to Danny's obvious embarrassment. There's clearly some unspoken tension between these three. Honestly, I'm starting to regret my decision to join Luca tonight. I canceled on Nate because I wanted to help my friend, but now I'm the odd one out, waiting through a decade of unresolved issues that don't belong to me. And then that's when she has her panic attack, and she goes into the bathroom, and then she comes out of the bathroom after she's calmed herself down. Luca's there, and then that's when he mentions that Sophia's his ex, and they dated for 2 years in high school and then broke up during their first year of college. And then they go back to the table, and she's like more touchy-feely and stuff with him. And then, but this was my favorite part of when they were at the dinner with Sophia and Danny is
We're lopsided.
I mean, always. Was they are talking about that and she tells him like, you have to let me touch you, like I'm here for you, but like I think we can pretend to be better. But then she says you have to stop acting like you're constipated, and I laughed so
I know, I made a note
hard.
of that too, where I was just like, LOL.
So then they get back to the booth, and she's like, oh, he couldn't keep my hands off me. And they're like, oh, that's not the Luca that we know, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, shut up, you don't know him anymore.
Yeah.
You both suck. No, we know that. And then Sophia's like, oh, your parents must love her. And he's like,
She's like,
and then Sophia goes, you have met Gia and Greg, right? They're the absolute best. And Luca's like, well, no, we just had dinner with Taylor, who is his older sister. Because it's Taylor, Luca, Elio, the twins, and then Georgie.
Yeah.
Is what it is. So then Sophia says, oh my gosh, so you haven't met the twins or Elio yet either? They're all just so funny. And little Georgie, she's got to be, what, at least 7 years old by now? And Luca says she is. Aw, and does she still call you Lucky? Yes. And then Sophia says, I miss her so much. So does Danny. He talks about your family all the time. Right, babe? Danny says, yes, we both miss them. And then Luca says, right. And obviously this is all from Harper's point of view in this chapter. And she goes, I can sense another oncoming flash of irritation. This time I don't hesitate to curve my palm around his thigh, urging him to mask his temper. And then Luca says, well, my family can't wait to meet Harper. I talk about her all the time. And I'm like, you go, Luca. So they go on the date, and then Sophia whispers something in his ear. Then we find out later what it is. And then she then whispers into, like, Sophia whispers something to Harper and says,
doesn't she like treat him good or something?
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah, that's what she says. Treat him right. And I'm like, Sophia, shut the hell up.
Yeah,
You're
you
dating his best friend now. Like,
Absolute worst.
what? So, but then they start to get closer. Harper and Luca does. She goes to meet Nate for drinks. He's like macking with someone else. Luca picks
Okay,
her
hold
up.
on. First of all, the way Nate handled that, when
What?
they talk about it,
But-
he was an asshole. But to
But-
be fair,
But
she went on a date with another guy.
Well, and then Nate is like,
Fake
oh, she's
date,
with
but
somebody
yeah,
else.
but Nate doesn't
Right.
know that. So he's like, well, if she's gonna see other people, then like I can do the
Right.
same. He was an asshole about
He
how he talked to
was.
her about
Oh,
it,
totally.
but she can't. I just feel like she didn't get to be mad.
I like this part though, and then we can move on. But it's when he picks her up and he's like, "What an asshole!" So she says, "I only know like 3 things about him at this point." And Luca says one of them that he's a dickhead. She goes, "No, I know that he's handsome. He likes to play sports, and he really likes it when I wear my lifeguard uniform." And Luca just goes, "Wow, what a well-rounded guy."
Yeah,
And I
sounds about
was
most
just-
guys that I've ever dated.
I was just dying. So then
Again,
they
toxic
yes.
men. My jam.
And then so they start hanging out. They start dating. Oh, this is then when he tells her what Sophia, like how she broke up. Like
Yeah.
they end up going and getting ice cream. And that's when we learned that she eats disgusting ice cream. Gummy bears with chocolates. And she says, what did Sophia say to you before we left the restaurant? He doesn't want to tell her. And then she goes, please tell me. You said you'd be more open. You promised. And he goes, she said sometimes she wishes we had never dated, that it would make it so much easier for us all to be friends. And then she's like, he goes, 3 years. I was with her for 3 years and she wishes it had never happened. And I was like, and then that's when we learned that Sophia's the only person that
he's ever
he's
slept
ever
with.
slept with. And she's like, aww. So then Luca tells Harper that Sophia came to visit near the
Happy
end of
towing
the
Tom,
first to visit near the end of the first year of college, and that like she told him it was over, but then Sophia and Danny didn't start dating until a couple months later because they started to get closer, and then like Luca gave Danny a blessing to date her, and
He's a much better person.
he is, well, especially when
I would
then-
never let you date somebody. Like, let's just say neither of us are married or whatever.
Right. If you date somebody, I would never date them. Like,
I wouldn't let you.
No.
I would not be like, this
Like,
is not. I'd be like,
absolutely
friendship
not.
over.
Well, I think the
because-
worst part was that, like, and Harper pointed out that, like, Danny knew that Luca wasn't over her yet.
Yeah,
and went
he
for it
sucks
anyway.
too.
And I'm like, stop being his friend. And then this part made me so sad because he goes, like, I wanted to get some normalcy back in our friendships. Like, sometimes we can't choose who we fall in love with.
I highlighted that because
Yes, it just happens. Or so I've been told, and I highlighted that too. And then he gives her the poker chip with the seagull, and I was like, it made me think of you. And I was like,
because he has the seagull in his room because he moved into this house with his sister and he didn't redecorate it. It's just however it was when he moved
yes.
in.
Well, and then I loved that he was like, now that you're holding it, I realize I've just given you a piece of literal garbage. She's like, I'm going to keep it forever, and I love it. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
And then she tells him that Sophia didn't deserve him, and I was like, sweet girl. So then they start dating, and
I like
she
what
goes,
happened. Was it the condo?
yeah, well, so they start dating. Well, she meets, she sees his sister again, and then they're like hanging out and whatever. So they start hanging out, whatever. Then they start dating, and it's super sweet. She goes to meet his family. Oh, so she goes, some stuff happens with his family. He kind of cuts her out for like a week. She wants to prove that she cares, goes to his football game.
His
But-
sports game?
His football game. And he, and she's like, oh, like, do you want to talk? And she's like, he says no, and kind of like blows her off. He's kind of irritated, just with life in general, a little bit with her. And then he's like, oh, I gotta drive home that night after this football game that's an away game, whatever. And she ends up, like, there's hurricane warning, all this stuff, or tornado warning. So she tries to call him, he doesn't answer, and so she's like losing her mind, like, oh no, I hope he didn't start driving home, whatever. He ends up at the hotel, and then he's like, sees her, and she's like, I tried. She like throws herself at him and just like starts hugging him, and that's the first time that they've like really had like physical contact that isn't like fake, like at the date or stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then we find out that she had called him 17 times because she was very worried about him.
Driving back.
Yeah, and then they end up sharing a room, and I was like, one bed.
I know, you're like, there's a one bed trope,
One
and then
bed
you're
trope.
like, they just kiss, and I was like,
Yes.
but
But she ends up, like, they end up kissing. Oh, she says, like, kiss me right now because you want to, like, forget why you shouldn't. She says, I don't want to keep begging you, but I might be willing to. And he goes, you don't need to beg me. Never. I'm like, aw. So then he asks her if they could slow down.
yeah.
And she's like, I'm sorry, I mauled you. Like,
Yeah. My
which,
bad.
I mean, she kind of does,
Right.
though, right?
Right.
And he's like, I don't want you to feel like I'm rejecting you because I'm not.
Mhm.
And then he's just like I said, like, it's been a while. I'm still trying to wrap my head around, like, that you even like me, you want to be with me, and whatever. And so then she asks if he has a hang up about it. And then we find out in the morning. So they end up going to sleep. They actually just sleep. They wake up. She wakes up because Eden, her best friend, who she switched the, like, internships with, is, they were supposed to share a room, and then Eden went to go be with her boyfriend, I don't know.
Ex-boyfriend.
Ex-boyfriend, like,
whatever.
whatever. We don't really like
We
him
don't care about their
either. We don't
relationship.
care. And then she comes into the room and she's like, "Wow, your plan worked." And then Luca, like, gets
Hears it
upset.
because he's like,
And
oh,
she's
was
like,
your plan
"You
to sleep
thought,
with me?"
right?"
And
And he's like, "You thought, like, you let Eden think that we slept together all the time."
Bless
So, yeah. And she's like, "I'm sorry, I didn't think it was a big a deal because she believes we're a couple because that's what you wanted." And so then they kind of get into, like, a little bit of a fight because he's like, "Oh, right, sex isn't a big deal. My bad." She's like, "You're literally putting words in my mouth."
I freaking
And
hate
then
that.
And then he, like, starts talking about Sophia again, and that she said that, like, he wasn't emotionally providing for her, and that they would talk, but they didn't see each other much. When they did, she was all over him.
Mhm.
She was the one that initiated everything, and then he says that the last weekend when she came to visit, they slept together twice before she dumped him.
So messed
And
up.
and then he asked her why she would be with him that way if she knew it was over. And Sophia said sex was never the problem between us. It was everything else. And I was like, oh.
Made me want to just like
I know, it's like, Sophia, we hate you.
we hate you.
And then we still don't like her in Fault Line. So that was kind of interesting, like, reading about her in Fault Line and then reading her in
Yeah.
this. And they're like, well, I don't like you even more.
Yeah, for real.
Like, I hope you never get a happy
yeah,
story.
You don't get an HEA.
I
which had to
don't write a
think
book
about.
for her.
Happily ever after.
Right.
I like trash.
So then this is when they become together.
Yeah.
And then they're like, I want more and whatever.
Okay, here's the thing about me and Raven. We need to compare the cutesy things compared to the fun things. Is that what we want to call it?
Sure.
Because I feel like I highlight more fun things. I highlight the cutesy things too, but when I got to that part in the book Raven, I should have Marco Polo juice to get my live reaction. I was like
I
outside
know.
reading, so it was raining, so I was outside my Kindle reading, and I was just like,
Right.
hot
Yeah.
damn. I was like, I like Luca.
Luca is, yes.
Did you highlight that or no?
Which part? Oh, when we get there after the condo, yes, I think so. Oh, and then, but he's
We're
just like
recording
so.
the video on my phone now. So.
Yes. Well, he's just like
Won't
so
be
sweet,
notes.
so insecure. But I like this part where, she then is like, there. He takes her on her first date, and he says, and it's like such a cute first date, and then
Oh, is
he's-
this the picnic on the beach?
yeah, he takes her to
With the
picnic on
tacos?
beach with the tacos and hot sauce because that's what she loves. And he
They
says
go into the water.
they go into the water, but he goes. She like wants to take his shirt off him, and he's like super self conscious and is like, "I guess I'm not all fit and lean with perfect hair like Gunderson. I think that guy has a 6-pack on top of his 6-pack." And she's like, "That's not why I liked him." And she goes, "No, you reminded me of a puppy." And she was like, he says a puppy. She goes, "Yeah, one of those little guys running around on the beach with their tongue hanging out chasing birds." And he goes, "Wow, this is great. I feel loads better now. So I remind you of your dead, grouchy cat. And Nate reminds you of a cute, innocent puppy." And then she just goes, "Rip him, Mr. Tickles."
Okay, wait. So this isn't.
No, so they're not yet.
This is when they go back to his house, but this happens at his house. Because I think the first time they like legit sleep together is at the condo, right? Because
Yes.
there's the part where he's like, like, Harper, I want to like try something ever
Right.
since I kissed you for the first time. He's like, can I go down on you? And I was like, that's why we love Luca. I really think I put that, like, Luca, you're the best
Oh,
or
I'm sure
something
you
in my
did.
notes. I can't read them because I have to record on my phone.
Yeah.
There we go.
So then they get in like their tiny fight before that because about the money, where he's like, money is tight. She offers to give it to him, and then he's like, I think you need to go. Like, I'll drive you home. And she's like, I drove myself here. Like,
Yeah.
I literally just got here. Like, come on. And so then they like talk about it, but I like when she says, takes me a few moments to gather myself. My first inclination is to apologize and wrap my arms around him. But I'm not so sure I have anything to apologize for. He can't immediately shut me out and make me leave like he did before. We agreed on transparency since then. I may have touched on a hot subject, but this reaction is unfair. And I was like, good for you, because, I mean, you're just trying to help and
Yeah.
whatever. So then they, like, kind of get back together. And then she's like, do you still want me to leave? But just when he was like, I'll take you home. And she goes, I drove myself here.
Yeah.
Come on, Luca. Oh, and then they start dating. Things are getting. She gets invited to one of the baseball boys. Nate invites her to the Halloween party, and then he's like, "Oh, well, I was gonna like go see my family,"
Yeah.
but he doesn't realize that she's still like kind of friends with Nate, and he goes, "I'm fairly certain this thing between us is exclusive." Shit, this is exclusive, right?
We
like,
never
if he just
asked her
doesn't
to be
know.
a girlfriend
No,
for a
not
while.
for so long, and he's like, "Oh." So then he takes her to meet his family, and it was so sweet. Elio's such a turd, and
Okay, but like, why do I kind of like him?
because you like boys to be mean to you.
I do. I like bad boys and mean
Yes.
boys and make me cry. All the
Well,
tears.
it's like so awkward because then Luca and Elio are like fighting, and he's like, "Be a normal person. First you miss our dinner, then you act like a complete dick to my girl,
Person.
the girl I'm dating."
Is this-
And Luca's
He's all coked out,
yeah.
right?
And then Elio's like, "Oh, you couldn't lock it down." And he's like, "Is she my girlfriend? Like, I just don't." And he goes, "It makes sense. She's way out of your league." And
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, like somebody's gonna get punched."
Yeah.
So then we find out that like Elio's high on cocaine, and I'm like, "Well, dang."
Sounds like a good time to me.
So
Just kidding, I don't do drugs.
anyway.
I never have. Well, that's not true. But like, not like coke. I smoked weed before. That's okay. I'm glad it's okay.
That's
with you.
okay. Friends still, forever. I saw this, I was like, what if Ashley and I ever got like matching tattoos? And then I saw this TikTok video popped up, and it was like, these besties went in, they're like, we want best friends, like, tattoos forever. So then they get like one of them, like the yin and yang symbol, so like when they put their arms together, and the tattoo guy's like so annoyed the whole time. Then he's like, wow, best friends until you die. And then they're holding hands, they're like skipping down the street, and then he hits them with their van, he's like, ha ha!
That's not what happened to
And then
us.
that was the end of it. I was like, oh,
We're just gonna tattoo "Be Brave." I'll tattoo that on this
be
hand.
brave.
So now I'm gonna get 10. I'll tattoo "Be Brave" on this, even
And
though
my
I never
hand,
am because I'm a baby.
This is true.
I'll try, and then I'll tattoo enough on this one, and then all of my other fun, my knuckle tats.
Yes.
Thought I was gonna tattoo "Good,
Good
Girl."
girl.
Not there.
No.
Not there.
So now we'll move on. Yes, then oh, but I thought this was so funny when he's like, I need you and I want you tonight, right now. She's like, you mean like in bed? He's like, yes, Harper, in bed.
hot.
Yes. So then she is like so nervous. They're both super nervous, and this I thought was sweet. So then after all that,
All the fun stuff.
all the fun stuff.
Raven's just gonna leave that out because she didn't highlight it. Did you?
No, I go from highlight page 228 to 235.
I highlighted it. I was like, okay.
She's like-
And I put notes. Go watch
Yeah.
us on TikTok, and we'll compare our highlights
We will.
there.
It's so funny. So then they're just like talking, and he says, when I think about, they start talking about what types they have, right? And
Do you have a type?
I don't know.
Wait, how many people have you dated, like boyfriends? Because you married Brian like 19?
18.
18?
Right before I turned 19. Yeah.
Okay.
Like legit a month, like to the date, a month before I turned 19.
Yeah, your anniversary is posted on the wall behind us. You can't. Well, you can probably see
Yeah, you
it.
probably see it.
It's right
Yes.
there.
So then June. Okay, how many did I date? I dated
You told me not to scroll back on your Instagram because I'll see your like 9th grade boyfriend.
Right. Oh, bar. Okay.
So why don't you delete him?
Well, I don't. It's too far back for me to go find it now. I'm like,
fair,
I mean, that was like,
fine. Who cares?
I don't know, 10 years ago. I don't got time for that shit.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so I dated 2 boys in sophomore year, 2 junior year, 2 senior year,
So 2 a year.
2 a year. Only like 3 months each because we got bored. And then I dated kind of, this boy from my ward during one of the summers. And then I dated this boy the summer between senior year and meeting Brian. Like 7?
That's more boyfriends than I've had, that's for sure. Let's see. Josh, when I was
And I dated
14.
Nathan. And then I dated Sam. But then I kissed Sam again senior year, but we never like dated senior year.
Yeah.
And then I dated Sam's friend Parker junior year. And then I dated somebody else my junior year. Oh, that was when I kind of dated the kid in my neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
And then I dated Eli senior year, and then Joe senior year. I'll tell you off screen. So then I dated him.
Wait, am I cutting this?
No,
I won't
I'll
cut
tell you
mine,
when we're
but-
done. So I dated Joe, and then I dated this kid named Reese,
But not spelled
but not still
fun
the same. And he was the one that I dated that summer. And then I kissed a guy in my singles one. He was very cute. Do you know who Dominic Cooper, the actor, is?
No.
So he played in Mamma Mia. He played Sky in Mamma Mia. He played Howard Stark and Captain America in the first one. You saw it.
But did he look like this guy?
Just like him, and that's why I had to date him.
Oh.
And then he was like, I'm going on a mission. And I was like, fine. He was like, but if you're still single? And I was like, okay. And then I was like, oh, never mind. And I started dating Brian like a month later.
Let's see. Okay. Oh, okay. He's
Okay.
kind of cute.
He looked just like him, he was just shorter. And I was like, this works for me.
So I dated Josh the summer before my freshman year of high school.
Well, I mean, I kind of had a boyfriend like freshman year, but like we never kissed or anything. I didn't kiss anybody till my sophomore year.
And then
So I don't count him.
towards the end of the first half of my freshman year, it was nobody. Not like legit nobody, but like I'm not gonna,
Yeah,
you
that's
know.
fine.
But you know,
So a guy
a guy who,
who we don't talk about.
no, Voldemort.
Good names.
That's what I call him sometimes. Anyways, him for like close to 3 years, I think, like 2.5 years. And then I dated this one kid who we didn't date for very long because I have to tell you this, it's so funny. He broke up with me and told me he was moving to Pennsylvania in a week. He did not. That's how he broke up with me.
My boyfriend, the first like boy I ever kissed, he kissed me unexpectedly. We went to homecoming in a group of friends, and then it was me and my 2 girlfriends went back to his house after to watch a movie, and his mom was like, I'll take you home, like tell your moms not to worry about it, because none of us could drive at this point.
Right.
We're sitting there, we're watching the movie, my 2 friends are asleep, and I'm like, guys, we're watching the movie, stay awake. I turned to say something to him, he kisses me, and I was like, what just happened? And I was like, did that happen? So then we dated for a couple months, but then, so he's the first boy I ever kissed, and then we're like hanging out with my best friend, and he wanted to do that thing where you like bite a piece of food and like kiss.
Lady in the Trampet?
Yeah, and I was like,
What the hell?
with beef jerky, Ashley. Beef jerky. No, I'm not even joking. He puts it in his mouth. It's hanging out, and then he just comes at me like this, and I'm like, no, and he goes, mm-hmm. But it's in his mouth, holding it with his teeth, so he can't say anything. He's just coming towards me like this, and I was like,
Oh
stop.
my god. Boys are dumb.
I was like, why would I want to do that? I was like, I don't even want your tongue in my mouth. Why would I want to do this with you?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, hold on. So Josh
Blech.
Voldemort. His name was Austin, not you, Austin.
We like you, Austin.
Well,
Listen to this podcast. And we'll
I have
like you.
stories to tell you about this Austin, not that Austin. You're gonna be like, what?
Okay.
After.
After.
I
We're
love
on
when
our
we're
date tonight.
Oh, we're going on a date tonight.
Dinner and shopping.
My little evil laugh. Okay, so then, and then Peter, we didn't date for very long. He told me he loved me after knowing me for like a week, and my response was, "No, you don't. You don't even know me." That was a hot mess. And then
Oh my gosh, we should put that
Josh
in like a
again.
book.
We should.
Like, I love you. Yeah,
No,
this is our first date.
Josh again.
Okay.
And then Eric. So how many was that? Not
5?
many. I don't even know if I can really count like Austin though, because it wasn't for very long.
Yeah,
Like,
I
don't
mean, none
even
of
know
mine
if
in
it was
high
a
school
month.
were very long. It was like 2 to 3 months, and then I was like, okay. But so one of them, this kid I dated in high school, Eli, we like made amends later. But when I broke up with him, because I just started to
I
not
forgot
really,
where this story was going with all the boyfriends. It'd be great. Can't wait.
Anyway, it'll be good. So Eli, I started to just feel like, you know, like when your intuition kicks in and you're just like, something's not right. Like, I stopped feeling good about him. And I was like, we just need to break up. So we break up. And then at this point, I'm a senior. My sister's a freshman at my high school. And he like is still trying to talk to her. And it was super awkward because we had math class together, me and Eli. And so then I had to like tutor him in math. Okay. I had to tutor him in math.
We can't do math. We're girls.
We're stupid, but I had to tutor him. So then we break up. He stopped sitting. He just starts sitting on the other side of the room. I was like, good, this is going to be awkward anyway. Like, you make it all worse awkward. But then he keeps talking about his sister, and I was like, leave her alone. Like, she's my sister. We're broken up. Like, she doesn't need your drama. And he's like, I can't talk to my friends anymore. And I was like, she's my sister, not your friend. Like, no,
Yeah.
don't talk to her. And then he just told me about how he had been doing cocaine, and then it made him way happier than I ever did.
Wait,
and then he
what
was
grade
like,
were you guys in?
we were seniors.
Oh, okay.
And that he like was so glad we'd broken up, and I was just the worst, and blah blah blah. And I was like, good, we're done.
Yeah.
And then he like was kind of a dick for a while, and I was like, leave me alone. Like, we're done. And then it wasn't until like a couple months after we graduated, he sent me a text message and was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I treated you so poorly. He goes, my girlfriend just broke up with me by writing me a letter and putting it on top of a cardboard box filled with the things that I bought her or left at her place. Left it on my front porch in the middle of the night. And he goes, it was really crappy, and I have come to realize that I treated you really crappy too, so I'm sorry.
I wrote Josh a letter when okay, I was 14, he was 16. We didn't date for very long, but I wrote him a letter. I gave it to him. Like, we met between our houses because small town, we didn't live very far, so we like walked halfway. I gave him the letter. He called me like when I got home, and he was bawling his eyes out. He was like, "Your letter made me cry," and I'm like, "Yeah, you suck, asshole." I wasn't mean in it
Was
either.
it the first one time or the
Yeah,
second?
no, this was the first time. The second time, he cheated on me, and I still stayed with him because I'm a dumbass. Good times. It's okay. I went on a couple of dates with some of his friends.
There you
Not at the same time, though. Months apart.
That's not where my mind went, but I'm glad for the clarification. Separately.
Listen.
Yeah,
Fuck
but
around
that's
and
why I
find out.
choose. Yes.
Okay, I can tell you right now that I don't.
That's okay. So back to the book.
Back to the book.
Anyway, his parents love her, his sister loves her, and then
They call her Happy. Taylor calls her
Yeah,
Happy.
it's so
because she's
cute,
so
she
happy.
is. So then they sleep together for the first time. It was because they talk about what type they have. And he's like,
Oh, that's where we were going with that.
That's where we went.
That's why we were talking about
Circle back
boyfriends. Okay, wait, but like, do you have a type where they all similar or no?
no, because I mean, some of them had dark hair, some of them had light hair. But then, like, when I did this young women's activity, it's kind of freaky. But when I did this young women's activity, when I was like 14, we had to they had us do like, we made these like folders, and it was like your ideal wedding, because we were talking about like getting married in the temple. So it was like, what temple would you want to get married in? What dress? So we're cutting out things of like our magazines, and then it was like who I would want to marry, and it was like, describe your perfect guy. And I said, blonde hair, blue eyes, 5'6", because that was what my boyfriend at the time looked like. What is Brian? Blonde hair, blue eyes, 5'8", which is what I had put, because that was and I was like, oh. But then I found that again after we were married. I
put it in a box, forgot about it. And then I found it after we got married. And I was looking at it. And I was like, predicted my own future.
Mine's usually just emo boys.
Yes.
Well, okay.
I don't know.
I guess technically, I don't
I think
like
for me
Austin
it was
didn't
more
look like
personality, I guess.
Austin didn't look like an emo boy, but we both like the same music,
Oh,
so I
so
was
he
like,
was.
that works.
Yes.
I did have a major crush on his cousin Scotty, and that's how we became friends. Oh my God, Scotty never listened to this. I think he probably already knew that, but he liked my sister, which is usually how that works out for me.
Yes.
But yeah, usually emo boys, like Eric was the first non-emo boy,
Really?
I guess, and so it was honestly weird
Yeah.
at first, because I was like, you look like no tattoos, no piercings,
Yeah, this is true.
no this hair, you know.
Where
Should I
like
cut my
that's
hair
what you
that?
learn.
Please no. You know,
Right.
so it was weird. It's always a mess.
So then, like, they meet her dad. He's kind of a turd. And then this part, like, broke my little heart. Well, it just, like, made me feel sad. Because he then asks her, like, would you be embarrassed if I didn't play football, if I wasn't hoping to get drafted? And she was like, why would you think that? Like, I like you for you. Like, if you change your mind and quit, I wouldn't care. And he's like, do you think I can call you my girlfriend now? And I'm like, oh, good, now that we're on chapter 28. We've been
There's
together
only like what 34
40
chapters.
something. I'm like, gosh.
Takes almost the whole.
Okay,
book.
and now we're going to get to the fight. The fight, and that broke my heart. The fight. Well, so they talked about, like, how, oh, well, so she, like, runs a bath for him before this. They relax, they start getting together, and he tells her that she is so perfect it makes his head spin.
Cute.
That's cute. See, I like the cute stuff.
Well, I do too. I also like the fun stuff. Okay.
Yes. So then, oh, I thought this part was cute. She is, like, doodling on his hand, and then she
Oh,
writes,
she
like,
writes
an
the-
H with the heart.
Yeah.
And then he has like a cursive L like
Yeah.
under her thumb. And we'll come back to that. So then she realizes
This is gonna be a very long episode
okay,
today.
but it's okay. So she realizes she's in love with him and whatever, and it's so sweet. She's like, oh my gosh, I am. He goes home for Thanksgiving, gets into a fight with Elio. Elio pushes him to the ground. He hits his knee, dislocates his kneecap.
Tears the ligament.
Tears the
he tore
ligament
before.
again, and then he has to call Harper, and and he's like, the draft is like gone. It's so sad because this book takes place the
fall semester.
fall semester of their senior year of college, so he's planning to enter the draft the following April,
Yeah.
and so she takes him to the ER. They tell him 3 to 6 weeks to recover, and she's like, okay, well, like, are you going to tell your coach? You can, like, if you don't report it, I need to report it. Like, you can't do this. You're going to ruin it. And then he says, like, no, you're not. Like, because she tells him, if you don't talk to your coach, I'm going to contact, like, the athletic director or whatever.
Yeah.
And he says no, and she goes, I'm looking out for you, like, you have a lot going on, I'm really worried. And he goes, I know that if you contact anyone on my team, you and I are done.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then she's like, wait, what? He says, if you go to the team's athletic trainer behind my back, then I don't know how this relationship can continue. And I was like, I was hoping they wouldn't have a breakup, but
The
she
way
did, and I was
he
like,
dumped her was
it's
so messed
so
up.
brutal. Like, so then she's like, you don't mean that? And he goes, like, I've done this alone, stay out of it. And she's like, we can figure it out together. And he says, this part gutted me. He says, you just don't get it, do you? You spent your whole life living in some sunshiny alternate reality, pretending everything is just peachy. Because for you, it always has been. Meanwhile, I'm stuck down here in reality with the rest of the world. You know, that place where people have real problems to deal with. And she goes, oh, silly me. I thought you said I was perfect. Is that really what you think of me, that I couldn't possibly understand you? And he says, sometimes it feels that way. And she goes, I see. I suppose that's nice to know how you really feel. Do you even care that I love you? And he goes, don't say something you don't mean. And then she says, why do you think like I wouldn't mean it? And he goes, because you fall in love like it's a damn hobby. And I really, really can't handle hearing something that's not real right now. And I was like,
That
Luca.
That was so messed
It was
up.
such a low blow.
And she's not like out here falling in love with all these
no,
guys.
she just had
She
a lot
just-
of crushes.
Yeah.
But I mean,
But
she
you're
even says, like,
21.
yes, she would like.
No
be
offense,
into
Raven.
her- I'm
to
not
getting.
21.
No, I just mean like getting married young or
Oh
whatever.
yeah, no.
You know,
No.
like do you for as long as
Right.
you want. Like you don't have like you don't have to settle
Right.
down. Like,
Well,
right
and then
away.
when she says, "You don't take me seriously at all, do you?" And that hurt me too because she told Luca that her parents don't take her seriously.
Mhm.
They think all her aspirations and dreams are just like
her
fluffy
head's just in
and
the clouds
yes.
and
And I'm
everything.
like, so then, he tells her that she needs space, and then she says, "So to be clear, you're breaking up with me." And he says, "Wow," or she says, he says, "I guess I am." She says, "Wow, I really don't know how to make you believe that I'm in love with you, and I'm certainly not going to beg you to love me back. You want to deal with things your own way alone, and then be my guest. I really hope everything works out for you in the end." And then as she's leaving, she can hear Luca calling her out, like calling back for her to come back or whatever. And she says, "There's nothing left inside of me for him to break, so instead I continue on walking right out of Luca's life just like he asked me to." And then he goes, "I made the biggest mistake of my life."
And I was like, yeah, you did, asshole.
Well, then he says, "I panicked and I screwed up majorly. It's not a valid excuse, but in that moment, the only thing I could think about was my future blowing up in my face."
The Schitt's Creek shirt.
Yes.
It's like the Eras thing.
Yeah, it does look like the Ears thing, but it's Schitt's Creek.
Okay, continue.
He says, "The detonation of everything I've worked for in my entire life. What I should have kept in mind is that Harper could have been my future too. Now I'm not so sure I have enough words for her forgiveness." And I was like, what a turd. So then he like has to tell Taylor what he did. Taylor like yells at him.
He goes to his coach too and is like, hey,
Yes.
like
Well, that's
That's
after.
okay.
So he grovels and he tries to win her back, and this made me so sad because she's like, "Do you need something?" And he's like, "Other than you, no. Like I didn't mean anything." And she goes, "It's hard for me to believe you." And he says, "I would take it back, like in an instant. I will take all of it back." And she goes, "Oh, so you changed your mind then?" He says, "There is nothing to change my mind about. All the shit I said was so far from how I really feel about you, about us, I swear." And she goes, "That's not what I meant. I meant about talking to your coach." And he's like, "I did. I realized you were so right." And she says, "I get that you regret it, but I still don't think that you understand the extent of how your words affected me. You wouldn't even let me tell you that I love you, Luca. You said that I fall in love like it's a hobby. Like my feelings and emotions aren't just as real as yours are. And maybe I haven't gone through what you've gone through, but that doesn't mean I don't face real problems too." And so then he's like, "I want you back." And she says, "You broke my heart, you broke my trust. And maybe like we're just too different." And he's like, "No, wait. So he just tries to backpedal everything he said to her, and she's like, "I think we should just take some space." But this part made me sad because she says, "Why don't you take care of yourself first, figure out your future, and then maybe we can revisit us." And he says, "And what if I want you to be my future?" And she goes, "Then I guess you should have spoken to me the way you did this morning. How about you take that space you asked for, and I'll do the same, at least for now." And then they take space apart, and he's just kind of a turd. And then then it is Nate. Oh, that's me. Then it's Nate
Don't mind me, I'm doing
who tells her that like Luca's out for the rest of the season and stuff. She hasn't seen him, hasn't talked to him in a while, in a couple weeks. And then she sees him for, I think it's like 3 weeks they don't talk. And then she sees him on the beach. She sits down by him. And then he like tells her that he misses everything about her. The way she smells, how she kisses, like everything. And this part I was like, made me a little upset because Kai's real tricky with her writing. But she says, "I forgive you. I'm just not 100% sure where we go." And he goes, "Okay, well, I think you should know that I've been seeing someone." And she's like,
I know, I was like,
what do you mean, Buka? And he's like, "Oh, a therapist." And I was like,
Therapy is
I was
great.
so panicked. I was like, how did you just move on? You were just like begging for her.
I know. I was like, are you
forgiveness.
serious?
Like, don't you work. Like, you're the worst. And then he says, oh, and she's like, a piece of me's been missing. He says, do you want to try again? She says, I do want to be with you, but he's like, it's okay.
My camera just keeps like, ah, what is that?
Yes, I don't know. So then they get back together, and
Now we're just like,
but I love it because he's like kind of right, like he's more shy and stuff. So I just love this when he's like, they're talking about going to Italy the following year, and he goes,
cute. I want to go to Italy. Will you take me?
"Maybe."
Is that where we should run away to instead of Florida? Let's just go to Italy.
Yes, we don't speak the language, but we can figure it out.
It's fine.
I know enough Spanish and Portuguese to say we don't drink beer and where's the bathroom. I'm sure it's very similar to Italian.
I barely know English.
This
but-
is true, but it's okay. So then he tells her that like he loves her and whatever. But then he decides that he was gonna take a break from his friendship with Danny, and I was like, hallelujah!
Yes,
Like
seriously.
you're so good. Like I'm so glad that you are like healing and stuff. And so then they're back together and they're happy. And then the epilogue is 5 years later. He's in the NFL. They have a little daughter together named June, and
Married.
she's 2, and they're married, and they're just living
Harper
life.
is the
and-
sports medicine girl at the school. And
Yes, she is the like athletic person for the hockey team, which then we see her just a tiny bit in Springtide.
Mhm.
And
Fault line.
Elliot, that's what I meant. And Elio's like beaming to him, to Holden, and that's where
That's why
Fault
she's
line
like
picks
hard
up.
on
on
Holden
Holden, yes.
in Fault Line.
And Holden doesn't know that she's like Elio's sister-in-law, and
Yeah, he does.
not right away because then Kaya tells him.
Okay,
But
yeah. But
But that's where it picks up. But it was so
it
good.
was good.
The
4.5
fight scene
stars
and the
for sure.
breakup killed me.
Yeah.
I was
I
like,
just, those
how
were low blows. He was such an ass.
He was.
I was like,
And,
anybody
okay.
says that to me, I would just cry my eyes
Right,
out.
and I can't wait until we do the trade because
yeah.
I have
She
thoughts
went
and
through it
feelings.
with that
I
book.
like binged it, but I have thoughts and feelings about that one too, and some of the things that are said in that book to different characters, and I was like, I am.
That'll be exciting.
is-
Our episode
gonna be
on
exciting.
the trade will be out the same day the book
Yes,
comes
it will
out.
come out August 15th because I've already read it. I'll reread it. Ashley's gonna read it. But yeah, so go to our TikTok or our Instagram for
Giveaway details.
yes, on the giveaway, and it's gonna be very exciting, and it's gonna be our first giveaway. And a
I'm
good
excited.
Giveaway.
It is a really
Too.
good one. I don't know if we can
I mean,
top this.
3 books, all signed by the author with other little goodies and stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna be sweet.
I'm
so.
excited. When
I know
we got
me
the
too.
news that we reached out to her
And then she
said,
agreed.
we
to
were
do
at
it.
work and we were losing. I was like sweating buckets. I
Yes.
was like, oh my gosh, like this is happening.
Yes.
So it's crazy, but we love Kai.
It's just so sweet. We've bonded now.
Um,
So
overall thoughts?
5 stars. I loved it. I loved Luca. I honestly liked this more than Springtide.
This is Springtide. Fault Line.
Than Fault Line. I liked it more than Fault Line. I'm excited for when we do the trade also to compare all of them because
I wonder if I'll change my opinion because Fault Line is my favorite.
Right, because Fault Line's your favorite. Springtide is my favorite out of these 2, but I don't know if I like the trade or Springtide more.
Which the trade is
But-
also part of a series. It's just the first book.
Yes.
But it's also like
Like
Fault
a
Line
different
and Springtide, to where it's not like I don't think you have to read them in order. They
No.
just start, go together.
I don't know because the trade's only her 3rd book, and it's like a different
Yeah,
one. But I don't know if this is gonna turn into like an L. Kennedy type thing where it's like they're all like interconnected,
Yeah.
have some of the same people or know some of the same people.
yeah,
I don't know because so far, like at least when I read the trade, I mean I'll have to go back and reread it now that I read Springtide, but I didn't think there was anybody that was like the same.
right.
Because I mean it is several. Oh, okay, wait. I think I know how they interconnect though.
I don't think they're supposed to.
I'm gonna have to just tell you off the podcast, or wait until we talk about the trade, because off the podcast,
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
So we've been at this for an hour and like 40. What is
Yeah,
this?
this is gonna be a freaking long one.
Almost
So
2 hours. This is an hour and 48. This is gonna kill me to
I
edit,
know.
you guys. It already takes me like 6 hours to edit one that's like about an hour. So this is gonna be like 2-3 day
All right.
type of.
We got till next Tuesday when it has to go out. Even if it's just the audio, it has to
It's
go out.
Thursday.
It has to go out on Tuesday.
The
So we're
audio
gonna end
usually does.
here. You give
Yes.
it 4.5. I give it 5.
I now have anxiety.
I'm very excited for this giveaway, and Kai's just the best.
She is
so
the best.
we
But
love her books.
I guess that's it for this week's episode. We have our date in an hour, and so I gotta go home and get
I gotta go
ready.
make dinner.
So yeah, we'll see you guys next
Next
week
week.
with Beyond the Wand by Tom
Yes.
Felton. That's a good one. Stick
Which-
around. I
oh
was
my
very
gosh.
unhinged. It's gonna be a great time. So we'll see you guys next time.
Next week.
Bye.
Bye.